This is sure to surprise you. Just now, insiders leaked shocking news. Half-Life X isn't just in development, it's almost ready. Yes, really. Blow! We know the exact release date for GTA 6, and it's sooner than you thought. Plus, Xbox's main exclusive, Fable, is coming to PlayStation 5. Is Microsoft declaring war on consoles? Get ready to see graphics 100 times better than Gears 5 and find out about The Witcher and Gothic remakes that are bringing us back to the golden age. From the Half-Life sensation to the main GTA 6 leak, all the hottest news is in this video. Don't go anywhere. Dreadzone. The new project Dreadzone has already attracted gamers' attention, presenting a dark and mysterious world where players must survive under constant threat. The plot focuses on a group of survivors trapped in an isolated zone filled with mysteries and deadly dangers. The goal is to uncover the secrets of this place and find a way out. The game harmoniously blends elements of survival, exploration, and tactical combat. Gameplay includes gathering resources, crafting weapons and equipment, and making difficult decisions that affect the team's fate. Special attention is paid to the co-op mode, allowing players to join forces to progress together and face threats. Dreadzone is notable for its impressive atmosphere, graphics, and sound design. Detailed locations and dynamic lighting create a sense of continuous tension. The release is planned for the coming months on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series. Fans of the survival genre with a deep story and atmosphere are highly recommended to pay close attention to Dreadzone. The Witcher 1 Remake. CD Projekt Red officially confirmed the development of a remake of the first installment of The Witcher, originally released in 2007. The project, previously appearing under the codename Canis Majoris, was described as a new major game, unrelated to the announced trilogy. It is now confirmed to be a remake of the original Witcher. The project is being created on the Unreal Engine 5 by the Fool's Theory Studio, known for its support work on Divinity Original Sin 2 and Baldur's Gate 3. Development is in the early stages. The question remains open as to whether the remake will retain the isometric view, which was available in the original as an alternative to the third-person view. The gaming community eagerly awaits the first full trailers. Tomb Raider next! A new project in the Tomb Raider series, tentatively named Tomb Raider Next, was spotted on the Metacritic aggregator page, fueling active discussions about the future of the legendary saga featuring Lara Croft. The new installment, developed on the Unreal Engine 5 graphics engine, is expected to mark the series' return after a long hiatus. Despite the scarcity of official details, sources report that it will be a single-player game that maintains the franchise's traditional focus on adventure and exploration. The Crystal Dynamics studio has augmented its development team with new specialists to achieve high visual and technical quality. Christoph Hartmann, vice president of Amazon Games, recently stated that the release is not far off, which, along with the project's progress, points to a presentation soon. The studio emphasizes the importance of maintaining the game's AAA quality. New Fable! Xbox Game Studios officially announced the postponement of the long-awaited new Fable release to 2026. Originally scheduled for release this year, the project requires additional time for refinement. Craig Duncan, head of Xbox Game Studios, commented on the decision, assuring the community that their expectations will be met. The developers at Playground Games are working on an extremely ambitious RPG that promises impressive visuals, engaging gameplay, and the series' signature classic British humor. Duncan expressed admiration for Playground Games' work, noting that, despite fan disappointment, Fable is absolutely worth the slight wait. He emphasized that he personally previewed the gameplay and was deeply impressed, indicating that the studio is carefully reimagining the franchise, creating the most beautiful version of Albion in the series' history. The developers recently published a small gameplay trailer showcasing pre-alpha footage. Despite the official explanation for the delay, insider sources suggest the postponement is due to a strategic decision by Microsoft to simultaneously launch Fable on all key platforms, including the PlayStation 5. The initial release was planned for 2025, but in light of Microsoft's new strategy, releasing games not only on PC and Xbox, but also on competitor consoles, the studio was granted extra time for adaptation. This change in Xbox's console exclusivity policy is fueling discussions about the future value of purchasing an Xbox console itself. Chernobylite 2 Exclusion Zone. Chernobylite 2 Exclusion Zone is the sequel to the atmospheric action survival game from Farm 51 Studio. The plot unfolds in an alternate reality where the Chernobyl exclusion zone has become the source of a mysterious mineral, Chernobylite. Players take on the role of Cole Gray, a former peacekeeper caught in the deadly zone after an attack on a private military company's base. Key new features in the second part include an open world, a co-op mode, and the ability to switch between first and third-person perspectives. The combat system has become more dynamic, expanding the possibilities for using both firearms and melee weapons. Crafting and survival continue to play a crucial role. The use of the Unreal Engine 5 ensures realistic graphics and a grim atmosphere. Despite technical flaws noticed in early versions, the developers have time to address them. The release is scheduled for mid-2025 on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series. Liquid Lungs. Liquid Lungs is a dynamic first-person shooter FPS with pronounced parkour elements. The game combines high-speed movement and wall running, reminiscent of Titanfall, cinematic slow-motion gunfights in the style of Max Payne, and a stylish neon aesthetic inspired by Mirror's Edge. The action is set in a retro-futuristic dystopian city inspired by 80s sci-fi. The emphasis is on fluid controls and sophisticated level design. Development is being handled by just one independent specialist who is actively looking for colleagues for his team, using the Unreal Engine 5 engine. The estimated release date on PC is the fourth quarter of 2025. Total Chaos! As part of the recent Steam Next Fest, Steam users were given the opportunity to freely experience the demo version of the horror shooter Total Chaos. The project is being developed by the creator known for the successful video game Turbo Overkill. Total Chaos is essentially a massive modification for the classic shooter Doom, released in 2016, which has received high praise from the gaming community. The game takes place in an abandoned mining town. Players must explore numerous deserted settlements to find out the reasons for the sudden disappearance of the locals. The main features announced by the developer include the ability to modify weapons using resources found on the map, an abundance of dangerous enemies, and an in-depth inventory system. Given the free demo access, fans of Doom and horror shooters are encouraged to check out the project. Pioneer. GFA Game Studio presented a trailer for Pioneer, an MMO shooter with an expansive open world. The action takes place in a grim alternate reality on a grim alternate post-apocalyptic island dotted with Soviet ruins. The developers announced the game's release on Steam in 2025 with the option to add it to a wish list. Pioneer will offer players a story campaign, side missions, PvP arenas, as well as mini-games and events like fishing and a casino. The shooter includes the Shadowlands mode, where players must find treasures and deliver them to a base while competing with other users. The weapon customization system will allow for the creation of militarized weaponry with unique modules, which the developers claim is an innovation for MMO games. An advanced crafting system and realistic survival mechanics are also implemented. Additional details will be presented in early 2025. The game will feature Russian and English voice acting by the game's voice studio. The War of the Worlds Siberia. 1S Game Studios presented gameplay details for the project The War of the Worlds Siberia. The plot is kicked off by a sudden 3 million ruble advance from an unknown person named Lenya, who asks for help in evacuating from a city. The hero's conversation is then interrupted by an attack from an unknown alien machine. This game from Russian developers is based on the legendary H.G. Wells novel The War of the Worlds. The events unfold in an alternate version of the Russian Empire in 1896, where humanity was forced to urgently evacuate to Siberia due following an alien invasion. The project is positioned as an engaging action-adventure with a deep storyline. The total duration of all in-game cutscenes will be about 2.5 hours, signaling its scale. The exact release date has not yet been named, but preliminary information points to late 2025 or early 2026. The Defiant. The recent high-profile release of Black Myth Wukong drew attention to the Chinese industry. And another project, The Defiant, has now entered the spotlight of Western players. Some reviewers consider it a potential competitor to the Call of Duty series. The presented footage is reminiscent of the spectacular campaigns from the Call of Duty Black Ops line, or even older Medal of Honor titles. Commentators note that Chinese developers continue to impress, while their Western counterparts have shown less consistent releases. According to the developers, the events of The Defiant take place in China in the 1940s. The game combines espionage warfare, puzzle solving, and action shooter elements. The project is in the early stages, and specific details about the release date are currently unavailable. Half-Life X. Information regarding the development of a new Half-Life installment, tentatively titled Half-Life X HLX, continues to circulate within the gaming community, generating unprecedented hype. According to insiders, the Valve project is in its final stages. Last December, a data miner under the pseudonym Gape reported that Valve was conducting closed testing for the franchise's next release. Yesterday, this information was corroborated by a statement from insider Tyler McVicker, who claims the game has moved into the optimization phase. McVicker drew this conclusion based on his discovery of mentions of the project, codenamed HLX, within the code of a recent Dota 2 update. According to his insider data, HLX is a single-player, first-person shooter. Key features will apparently include improved mechanics inherited from the second installment, advanced enemy AI, and an emphasis on world interactivity. McVicker speculates that these findings may signal an imminent project announcement, which has a high probability of happening as early as 2025. Further circumstantial evidence comes from a New Year's greeting by voice actor Jen Michael Shapiro, who wished fans many unexpected surprises, accompanying his post with the hashtags #Valve, #Half-Life, and most notably, 2025. Star Citizen Squadron 42. After years of anticipation, Squadron 42, the single-player campaign set in the Star Citizen universe, is finally nearing its release. The developers promise a grand space adventure with cinematic presentation, epic space battles, and detailed characters. Squadron 42 will offer players a captivating storyline where they take on the role of a recruit in an elite space fleet. The experience includes large-scale space battles, intriguing missions, and a deep plot that unravels the universe's mysteries. Special attention is drawn to the all-star cast, including Henry Cavill and Mark Hamill, who play key roles. The gameplay combines dynamic space combat and ground operations, requiring players to pilot various ships, engage in shootouts, and execute tactical missions. The project aims to be one of the most ambitious space games in history. The release is set for late 2025.
Gears of War E-Day. The Coalition Studio announced a new game in the Gears of War series called E-Day. The developers stated that the project will set a new benchmark for the graphical capabilities of Unreal Engine 5 for years to come. It is claimed that the overall image detail will be 100 times greater than Gears of War 5, an extremely ambitious statement for the industry. The Coalition team is aiming for maximum graphical perfection, using the latest technologies to achieve an unprecedented level of detail and realism. The game will demonstrate cutting-edge lighting effects, high-detail textures, and improved physics. The developer's goal is to create a visual revolution that will become the standard for future projects. E-Day is not a spin-off, but a full-fledged new chapter in the series, representing a massive prequel to the franchise that the studio has long planned to tell. The release is planned for PC and Xbox Series, with the release date yet to be named. La Chimera. A recent information leak has been officially confirmed. The Reb Studio, a former division of 4A Games involved in the development of Metro Exodus, is working on a new sci-fi shooter called La Chimera. The game is set in the near future in Latin America. The project is being created using the 4A engine, which was used to build Metro Exodus. According to the plot, a series of disasters occurred in 2044, collapsing the familiar world order. By the mid-22nd century, global systems have crumbled and nations have broken down into microstates. The main character, a member of the Chimera Squad, takes on deadly missions in this dystopian Latin America. Players will fight in a gigantic megalopolis and wild jungles, utilizing advanced technology and weaponry against hostile factions. The script and setting are handled by the famous director Nicholas Winding Refn, who directed the film Drive. The game will be available on PC via Steam, with a potential subsequent release on consoles. Release dates have not yet been announced by the developers.
New Heroes of Might and Magic. New Heroes of Might and Magic is a continuation of the legendary turn-based strategy series. The action takes place on a new, mysterious continent called Jadam, which has not previously appeared in the franchise. Players will explore a vibrant world, gather resources, build magnificent cities, upgrade their castle, form an army, and participate in epic battles with mythical creatures, following the classic canons of Heroes of Might and Magic. The game features 6 unique factions and a non-linear campaign in which players must defeat an army subservient to a demon from the Inferno to save the world. There are various maps with randomly generated scenarios for single-player mode, as well as an online mode and a map editor. The game was announced on August 22nd. Development is being handled by the Unfrozen Studio, and Ubisoft is the publisher. The early access release is planned for 2025.
Gothic 1 Remake. Footage from the Gothic 1 Remake, an updated version of the cult role-playing game, was demonstrated at Gamescom 2024. The video material, lasting over an hour, showed key aspects of the gameplay, exploration, dialogues, the combat system, and other mechanics. This provided gamers with an opportunity to assess the developer's approach to updating the classic project.
According to reviews from those who saw the gameplay, the remake retains the spirit of the original, while the visual design meets modern standards. Many fans who were expecting more contemporary graphics stated that the primary aspects are the legendary atmosphere of the first Gothic and the original story. The game's plot takes place in the Kingdom of Myrtana, which has been overrun by orcs. King Robar II forces captives to mine magical ore in the Corinis mine. An attempt to create a magical barrier around the mines leads to disaster, a prisoner revolt, and the formation of an anarchic zone. The exact release date for the remake is unknown, but it is anticipated that the release on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series will occur in early 2025.
Grand Theft Auto 6. Despite circulating rumors about a potential delay of Grand Theft Auto 6 until 2026, Take-Two Interactive CEO Strauss Zelnick confirmed in a recent interview that the company is sticking to the official information. The game's release is scheduled for fall 2025, the period from September to December. In the earnings report, Zelnick emphasized, "We strive for perfection, and once we feel that we have achieved creative perfection, that is when we will release the game." Given that GTA 5 sold 195 million copies, the bar for GTA 6 is set extremely high. Unfortunately, information regarding the game's PC release is still absent. Judging by the example of GTA 5, PC gamers may have to wait a year or two after the console release. There is speculation that the game will be released after the announcement of new PlayStation and Xbox consoles, as the current generation, including the PlayStation 5 Pro, may not provide the maximum performance required to unlock GTA 6's full potential.